It's Bob and Tom Tonight, starring Chick McGee, Christy Lee, Josh Arnold, Ace Cosby, Pat Godwin, Willie Griswold, and Tom Griswold.
Welcome back to the program. We do a little bit of research.
I don't think you said hey to me. Not a word.
Didn't say I had to check that.
Oh, I'm sorry. You're not just going to shout out random annoying things.
Oh no,
There's Chick McGee.
I like to place those.
Okay. We have.
I have an update on your lids thing.
I was just asking because we have a story coming up about. There are various places in which they're kind of a trade-off. Get the vaccine, get this or whatever. And there's a place we're going to have a story where they're going to give you a joint.
Give you a joint if you get a shot.
If you get a shot. So.
Get weed and be magnetized. That's cool.
Oh my God, he's going to come
Shipping a joint.
You're
Shipping a joint.
I told you.
Yeah, you're helping. Yes, when the scourge hits the trailer park and knocks out your mom, you'll change your tune. Okay.
He's going for your mother there, Josh.
The only
my mother.
saving factor is that Tom or Josh will be proved wrong after people die. Yeah, good job.
The point is, I was just asking, is the term in the marijuana culture, lid, still active?
One of our great listeners apparently did the research for us, Robert, and sent me this on Twitter. According to Google, apparently the term came from the practice of breaking up a brick or kilo, later a key, of tightly packed marijuana and storing and selling it in a Prince Albert tobacco can.
Oh.
A can held approximately 1 ounce. The lid would hold approximately 1/8 of an ounce.
Chick, do you have Prince Albert in the can?
Well, how do the walls stay up? No.
No. You better let him out so he suffocates.
You better go catch him. No. That's the refrigerator's running.
How do you ride a bike? It's my favorite one.
How do the real ones go? I'm lost.
You call a bowling alley and you say, "Excuse me, do you have 10-pound balls?" And when you say yes, you say, "How do you ride a bike?"
Oh, that's a good one. Sorry.
And then you go, is Joe? Hey, hi, is Joe Walls there? Is Tom Walls there? And they go, no. And they go, well, what's holding the house up? No, that's not right.
No, you got to. So there are no walls there.
There are no walls there. That's it.
Yes. Yeah.
And do you have Prince Albert in a can? You better go let him out.
Yeah,
right?
when I was a kid, I never got that because
Why?
Well, Prince Albert in a can tobacco was.
Yeah, exactly.
Over about 1947.
Right.
I don't think so. Prince Albert, the workhorse of the tobacco industry.
Right, but as
no one was.
common...
I mean, maybe Fred McMurray on My Three Sons.
Yeah.
When is the last time you saw a guy smoking a non-drug-related pipe?
Oh, it's so cool.
It is cool.
Oh, it's great if you want lip cancer, tongue cancer,
well,
throat cancer,
but
cheek cancer.
There's a certain guy.
Don't you find in Glorious Bastards with Quentin Tarantino, when Christoph Waltz asks if he could smoke his pipe in the farmhouse, he pulls out that pipe that is as big as a 12-inch television set. And don't you find that distracting and somewhat humorous in an awful situation?
Yeah.
They should have edited that.
Yeah, but the point is, you just don't... the reference to Prince Albert kind of...
Yeah.
I mean, very, very dated. No one can really... I can't even relate to that.
Mitchum was the last person to have pot in a Prince Albert can.
Yes. Robert Mitchum, not the deodorant.
So, Christy, they said that a lid is 1/8 of an ounce?
Yeah.
That's what it said.
So I would say pretty often you'll hear eighth thrown around a lot.
Oh,
You'll
really?
hear like a 10 sack maybe, which is like, seems like a dime bag or whatever. But no one's really saying lid. None of the hip kids on the streets are saying, "Hey man, fill me a lid of that jazz lettuce." You know?
So what's in the nickel bag? How much is that?
Half of a dime bag.
Oh,
How much is a dime bag?
A dime bag,
1/8.
it's usually about $10 worth of pot.
Yeah.
Okay.
Check local listings.
Is that enough? Is that enough to...
Not... It was when I was in school, but...
Yeah.
Okay, well,
You know what? Yes, it probably... Actually, since pot's gotten so much better...
it's birthday time. Oh, we had some huge birthdays today. Jacques Cousteau.
Oh, I love
sure,
Jacques
yeah.
Cousteau.
Great oceanographer.
You got a painting on your head.
The great Vince Lombardi, Chick, the guy that got you interested in the Redskins.
That was going to
of all
be
things.
in sports birthdays.
You're doing his job again.
Vince Lombardi, Jackie Stewart, and Joe Montana all celebrating birthdays today.
Jackie Stewart. Yeah.
Christine.
Jackie's, yes. 1933, the late great Gene Wilder. Perhaps in his honor, we can play our tribute to Gene Wilder in a few minutes.
Yeah.
Oh, my keys.
Do you know who Henry Hill is, Josh?
Sure. Absolutely, yeah. He's the good fella.
Right.
Who?
Did you ever see the movie Goodfellas, Christy?
Yeah, but boy, it's been
Ray
a while.
Liotta played him.
Oh, Ray
Lead character,
Liotta, yeah.
One of the great movies.
So Goodfellas based on a true story?
Yes.
Indeed.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Oh, yeah.
Very, very good.
Shows how much I know.
As Chick mentioned, Joe Montana, born in this state in 1956.
Do you remember his nickname that nobody else remembers either? So don't feel bad. Joe Cool.
I don't remember that.
I do remember that because a buddy of mine had had it on his folder or something in school.
Remember that was a big mistake. They tried to put Montana in the broadcast booth, and he has the personality of this piece of paper. Just didn't go well.
Happy birthday, Hugh Laurie. Do you know who Hugh Laurie is, Chris? You'd recognize him immediately.
Yeah, I know who he is.
Dr. House.
Doesn't he? Yeah.
And he's English.
Fry and
Yes,
Laurie.
he is English.
Dr. Oz, happy birthday. One of your favorites, 1969, the birth of Peter Dinklage.
Yeah, I like him.
Get me Dinklage.
Yeah, he's a great actor.
Saw him in person at Sundance.
Cool.
Did you really?
Yeah.
That's cool.
I hope
I'm
he sat,
taller than
I
him.
was going to say, I hope he sat in front of you.
I was just happy to be taller than
We
somebody.
were almost through that.
We are worldwide on American Forces Radio, coast to coast on a bunch of great radio stations. And the handsome factor of our guest roster never gets better than when we have Mr. Jeff Foxworthy on the phone. And we're going to hook up with Jeff right now. Hey, Jeff, can you hear me okay?
The handsome factor.
I'm just trying to grease the skids here and make sure that you're in a good mood.
I didn't see that one coming. That's awesome. Yeah.
How's the mustache, by the way?
It is back in full force. You know, I cut it off
Right.
the first week of lockdown, and so I have officially shaved my lip one time as an adult. And I didn't tell anybody. I thought, well, hell, I'm not going to be doing shows for a while, and I want to see if I have a lip. And I went in and shaved it off, and took my wife about a half hour to notice, and she finally stared at me. She goes, "Oh wow, throw it back."
I think you have that in common with Bob, except Bob has never shaved it off since he was graduated from high school.
That's right.
Yeah. Well, mine started in the summer between the 11th and 12th grade, and it was a little bit like the caterpillar back then, but it's over time it's blossomed into the full Sam Elliott, Dale Earnhardt tribute. It's back in full force.
No, were you allowed to have the mustache in high school?
Yeah, well, I mean, it was kind of almost hard to call it a mustache, but yeah, they didn't.
Okay.
Are you kidding? I went to a public school on the wrong side of the tracks. There weren't a lot of rules going on for us, so no.
Yeah, I had to
Tom
wear,
couldn't relate to that.
Yeah, I had to wear a tie.
Did you really?
Yes, and B, I couldn't have grown a mustache then if my life had depended on it. I was praying for pubic hair in the 12th grade, Jeff. I'm so sorry to get off topic.
Explains a lot, doesn't it,
Yeah, our
Jeff?
guest is Jeff Foxworthy, a man who I'm sure was at full pubicity, apparently in the 11th grade.
What did young Tom do?
I have a mental image of Tom on his knees going, please, God, just one pubic.
Yes. Yeah. My friend Pete told me if I rubbed lanolin down there, it would grow.
No.
Yes. Oh, yeah. These are all true
They
stories.
didn't call you Piglet, did they?
That's very funny, Christy. Why don't you go write the news? Jeff Foxworthy is our guest. Jeff is a distinguished comedian who's been locked up along with everybody else for the last 15 months. And the tour begins, it looks like, in July. Am I getting this right? You're going to be starting off in Biloxi?
Yeah. It starts in July, and I mean, I'm itching. I would start it this afternoon if they would let me. So, as you know, I think the longest I'd ever gone on without going on stage was 2 weeks since 1984, and I've went 14 months.
Wow. Have you had time to? I know things are easing up. Have you been able to go to some small rooms and do a little bit of?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, the Punchline in Atlanta is a great little room, and so I went down there a couple of times last week and just popped up and did a set just to see if I still remembered how to ride the bicycle, and thank God I did. So,
is there a lot of referencing to the last 15 months, or is it just a couple quick things? Then let's move on and get back to funny.
It's the latter, and I've talked to a lot of comics about it. It's like. And I just think people are over it. They just want to move on. So I think you have to acknowledge it. But, the only thing I said is, when you're locked down like that, you learn a lot about yourself. And, from wearing that mask and breathing my own breath, I learned I need to go back and apologize to everybody I've talked to since high school because apparently I'm walking around with breath that would drop a rhino in its tracks. Had no idea. Didn't know, but you're in the grocery store gagging. You got that hot orange juice in the back of your throat going, holy hell. Yeah.
Oh, wow. Our guest is Jeff Foxworthy, a man who is going to be a rookie on stage for the first time in a while after taking a 15-month or so break. Lots of stops on your tour, including, I should say, Charleston, West Virginia. I know you're going to be in Durham, Baltimore, Lakeland, Florida, Montgomery, Alabama. Lots of spots. And there's a complete schedule posted, of course, online, and it also includes Lake Charles, Louisiana, the beautiful Jamestown, New York in August. Good time to be there, I might add.
Oh, yeah. Nice and cool. Mm-hmm. Yeah. It'll be a combination comedy show wet T-shirt contest for that. So,
now, we should tell you that one of your friends in the world of comedy, Reno Collier, has become kind of a regular on our show, and we've been trying to help Reno title his forthcoming album. And he's kind of struggling with it. He's been working construction on the side to make a little cash, and he's working on a TV show about that. But we were. Do you want to tell him what we suggested, Christy?
What did we suggest? Labor and material was one.
That's
Josh.
pretty. I was kind of going for nail guns and hill jacks.
Yeah, I know. That's why I was detoured.
What about stuff nobody wants to hear?
Yeah, perfect.
See, I will, Jeff. That's exactly the right answer.
You nailed it.
Now poor Reno will just give up all hope. And the handsome factor of our guest roster never gets better than when we have Mr. Jeff Foxworthy on the phone. When you go out now, is this, as they say in the comedy biz, a new hour, or are we going to be able to visit some of the classic moments in your career?
It's so funny. I was talking to Jerry Seinfeld last week about that, and halfway through 2019, I just decided, because Netflix wanted me to do another special, and I said, all right, I'm not doing any of this material again, and I literally, started over from scratch, which there's no easy way to do. I mean, it was note cards in the club, Monday night, 20 people, and I had just gotten a brand new 90 minutes, and COVID hit. And I was having such fun with it and playing with it. So, yeah, this is all new stuff. But Seinfeld's like, well, I don't know why you do that. He goes, a great joke is like a piece of gold. Why don't you do some of that other stuff that's so great? So I'm like, well, I don't know. Maybe when I finish this tour, maybe I'll go back and do like a greatest hits tour or something. I don't know. Because to me, that's what makes comedy different than music. When you go hear a musician, you want to hear their hits.
Sure.
And with comedy, people go, I've already heard that. What do you have that's new? So I always felt like I just had to constantly be coming up with new stuff, but maybe not. I don't know. What do you think?
Yeah, I'll tell you what. Jim Gaffigan, when he'll do a thing at the end of his show, he'll come back out and go, "Okay, I've kind of got to do the hot pocket thing." It's kind of his stairway to heaven, and he'll do some variations on it. You have a sort of a structural thing that you can do. You only always do like a handful of those. You might be a redneck if things, but that gives you a little bit of a greatest hits feel, even though it's new stuff, don't you think?
Yeah, but it's kind of weird. Like every once in a while on YouTube or the radio, one of my bits will come up from 25 years ago, and I don't even remember it. And I'm sitting there listening to it, and I'm like, crap, that was pretty funny. I mean, why did I stop doing that? So I don't know.
You were talking to us on the phone once, and I'm not going to ask you to do the story again. You probably don't remember. You told a very funny story about a guy picking up a dead beaver. We get requests for that every day.
Yeah.
And it was just a
Yeah,
casual conversation. So if someone shouts out, "Dead beaver,"
Oh yeah, I mean, that's the one people will come like to the meet and greet and go, "Will you please tell the story about the nipple biting? The beaver biting the nipple off?" You know. So,
our guest is Jeff Foxworthy. You recognize his voice, and Mr. Foxworthy is certainly a classic American comedian, and he will be on tour again because we can go to places in public again. The entire roster. We'll print it on the website and post it, I should say, and find out where Jeff is going to be and see some great comedy. The first time I saw Jeff was in a very small comedy club, and the last time I saw you was in a beautiful theater, and it was great shows, of course, both times. Certainly looking forward to seeing you out there on the road, Jeff. And
well, you think about it, because I've always said laughter. I don't think laughter makes people's struggles go away, but it's kind of the release valve that keeps the boiler from exploding. You know, it's the thing that keeps you from going. That and live music, and you think about. Over this whole COVID thing, the two things we haven't had is live comedy and live music, which kind of keeps people from going nuts. So I did a show last Saturday night, and it's just person after person was like, thank you. So I haven't laughed like that, and I can't remember when, you know. So I think we're starving for it. Yeah. Hopefully. I know I just missed it. I mean, I've been so lucky to do a lot of different things, but I'm a stand-up. I mean, everything else is gravy, and so I just miss doing it. So I'm so thrilled to be back.
No, this isn't going to affect your hunting, is it?
No, hell no. When I was filming Are You Smarter Than a Fifth Grader, I had a lawyer come up to me in Los Angeles, and he goes, "Why is it in your contract that you will film any month except November?" And I said, "Well, that's the rut." And he's like, "That's what?" And I'm like, "That's when whitetail deer breed." And so it was in my contract. I could not film in the month of November because I was going to be sitting in a tree with a bow and arrow somewhere.
That's when you know you've made it.
Yeah.
when you could do something you love.
In your TV contract, right?
Cool. Well, Jeff, congratulations on regrowing the mustache. Can't wait to see you live again, and we'll post all those dates on the various Bob and Tom stuff in the world of social media. Thanks, Jeff. Best of luck.
Hey, good luck with the pubic hair.
Thank you. I'm working on it. I'm rubbing lanolin on it as soon as this break's over.
That sounds kind of creepy, actually.
Thank you. All right. Without any further ado, ladies and gentlemen, the handsome factor is way up there because...
Who's that sexy man with a deep voice? Ace Cosby, here he is with his joke of the day.
My partner came to me last night, and she said, "I'm going to clone myself."
Oh, boy.
I said, "That would be just like you."
Ace Cosby's joke of the day.
Don't yell at me.
Okay. We will not shoot the messenger.
A man in the UK has set a world record. He recited the names of all 712 Titanic survivors from memory.
Oh, my Lord.
All right.
To accomplish the...
Were any of them there to say here?
Dean Gould said he used
Wait
an
a second.
ancient...
What about my question?
They'd be 100 and what?
If they were newborn babies, they'd be 109. Isn't that right? Or
Was it 1912? Was it
20?
I forget. It's the Night to Remember is the name of the movie, but I forgot.
Carry the one. He said he used an ancient memory training system called Loci, L-O-C-I, that involves stringing together a number of places and locations along an imaginary journey used to help recall information.
If you gave me the list.
I bet you could.
What a waste of time.
He's
this guy heard of the internet?
He's 56 years old, recited the survivors' names in 41 minutes, 23 seconds. Gould said some of the Titanic survivors' names are fiendishly hard to break down into images. Names like Maria Panasco y Cost Elena.
Okay, so Marine, down by the marina, then I went to Costco, and then I lost my friend Elena. How about that? Pretty good.
Whose arm was in a cast.
I mean, that's pretty much the gist, isn't it?
I've always heard that you remember visually. So in your brain, you have to remember your first item on your list. It's what's the first item? Oh, it's sitting under a tree because a tree is one thing. And then the next one's under a goalpost because that's two. And the next
This guy
one's sitting
probably-
on a stool. That's 3 legs.
Yeah.
This guy doesn't even know who his neighbors
All
are.
right.
He's sitting inside memorizing them. What a waste of time.
You remember every guest we've ever had.
Boy, I don't.
That no one else does.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
That's because that's interesting.
Remember anything.
Memorizing the survivors of the Titanic. They should have had the guy on the Titanic. Maybe he could
survivors, everybody.
memorize where the icebergs were. That would have been a little more helpful.
Yeah, did he memorize the survivors or the people who died?
People who died.
Survivors.
The survivors.
712 Titanic survivors.
So it's not even like an honoring thing. It's just
It
a-
doesn't matter which he remembered. I don't know which is bigger. How many?
Well, more
forget.
people died than survived.
I don't
right?
remember.
2,000 or something?
He didn't have to memorize Jack. Jack died.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
did.
Yeah.
All he had to do was climb up on that
There was
damn
room.
door.
There was room on that door.
Yeah, I know.
Plenty of room.
I agree.
Rose.
I don't know. Maybe you guys seem to think this is.
And then Rose became a cop in Delaware County, Pennsylvania. Isn't that interesting?
That's funny, isn't that?
yeah.
Well, she's great in that.
Do you- did you
Mayor of
see-
Easttown. Have you watched it yet?
Not yet, but have you seen the? Have you seen that Wawa, the department store? They're going to have this special sandwich for Delaware County, and they're going to give away coffee for free.
I
Here's-
love Wawas.
Great.
I've never been to a
Convenience
Wawa.
store.
I eagerly await.
Great sandwiches.
Yep.
Yeah.
So this is all in reference to that TV show again.
Do you remember the Wawa as being part of the plot?
Right, next.
I'll say.
Stupid world record. A Ukrainian woman has set the Guinness World Record for.
And how dare you proclaim next when you were the one stretching that out?
Yes.
No, that's false.
Well, was that,
He brought out Delaware County. What the hell
Because
is
you
doing?
love Mayor of Easttown.
I didn't bring it up.
I'm trying to make you smile, which is a fool's
brought up-
errand.
you-
Watch the entire show live or on demand at bobandtom.com or listen live with the Bob and Tom app. And be sure to tune in next time for more Bob and Tom Tonight.